Hello everyone, and welcome to this week's 90s news. The 1990s were an eventful time for America. It was right before the turn of the century, and we were once again trying to find ourselves. Technology was becoming more and more a part of our lives. The invention of new systems and widespread use of the internet sparked an innovational change in American society. Tensions were high in the 90s, from the East-West battle between Biggie and Pac to racial issues involving the LAPD. Nothing looked like it would be easily settled. In addition, entertainment took a major change. Music didn't have one single genre that defined the period. Home entertainment systems found sweeping success, and a new style of television show took the nation by storm. The 1990s were a time filled with scandal and fear, but it also represented hope for change in the future and showed the good in all of us. And now, a short commercial break before one of our experts takes us through the objects of the 1990s.
Every day, America Online is making it a little easier for people to live, work, and play. With point-and-click access to instant news and sports, financial updates, online magazines, shopping and travel, and easy access to the internet. Call now for America Online, a new way to use your computer to communicate and have fun.
Call 1-800-248-3100 now for your free America Online Startup Kit with free software and 10 free online hours. It's everything you need to get online. Call now.
We got OJ, purple stuff, soda. Yeah, go for it. Tastes like orange and tangerine.
And lime.
Some healthy junk too. Go!
Instant replay?
Sunny Delight. The good stuff kids go for.
TGIF has the girls fixing Dad up.
With a love connection.
Full house. Then Eddie gets straight A's.
Can't believe it.
You can't believe it.
Family Matters. Then Balky tackles the business side of pro football.
Nepos will have the Raiders, the Raiderettes, the silver and black.
You mean Bo knows sheep clothing?
Perfect Strangers, followed by Just the 10 of Us. It's another great TGIF with Full House, Family Matters, Perfect Strangers, and Just the 10 of Us.
Friday.
To kick off our object of the 90s, we have two tubular fashion staples of the period, the G-Shock and the fanny pack. These plastic digital watches took the nation by storm in 1993, 10 years after they were released, and have sold 19 million watches by 1998. The fanny pack, also known as the man bag, bum bag, or tourist tractor, was a short-lived fad that died out after the 90s. However, at the time, celebrities such as wrestler Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson popularized the fanny pack. Another two major items from the 1990s are held very highly in the hearts of millions, the Nintendo 64 and the MP3 player. The Nintendo 64 came out in 1996 and sold 3.6 million systems in its first year. It is most well known for games like Super Mario, Ocarina of Time, GoldenEye, and other classics that broke the boundaries of what we thought possible. With new graphics and forward-thinking game designs, these became an integral part of culture in the late 90s. Now, onto the MP3 player with technological innovation. For the first time ever, you had hundreds of songs at your fingertips. They often had 2 gigabytes of data, a scientific achievement unheard of, and something so small at the time. Music was a powerful force in the 1990s. The fact that people were able to listen to it conveniently revolutionized the industry and the culture surrounding music. Our fifth and final project of the 1990s is a bit more dangerous. The 90s gave way to increased crystal meth, heroin, marijuana, and ecstasy use. These club drugs often resulted in permanent damage. In addition, the increased use of heroin led to a warped sense of beauty that became known as the heroin chick in the mid to late 90s. It consisted of dark under eyes, drawn cheekbones, and pale skin. This fashion statement, resulting from drugs, led many to struggle with eating disorders and starve themselves to death, and look the way they thought they should. The other drugs took the world by storm as raves and underground dance parties led to a spike in ecstasy and marijuana usage.
Thank you for that wonderful report on the objects that embodied the 90s, good and bad. Our next segment will be yours truly, running you through 5 images that depict our 1990s better than any. First, we have pictures from the sitcoms Friends and Seinfeld. These 2 shows depicted single adults living happy lives past the age considered normal. They helped us reshape how relationships were viewed in the modern era and led to older single people as well as older parents. To follow these 2 iconic shows is another piece of entertainment history. The cover of the first Harry Potter book, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. This novel took both America and the world by storm when it was released in 1997. It was a once-in-a-generation type of unifying force in entertainment. It broke sales records and brought people together the likes of which hadn't been seen since Star Wars. Third, we have Bliss, 1996. This absolutely iconic landscape photo was taken by Charles O'Rear. It didn't become well known until 4 years later, but this photo taken in the 90s became implanted in the minds of everyone who used a computer, when in the year 2000 it was made the official Microsoft computer background. Our final 2 photos are equally as shocking and powerful in completely different ways. First, the Columbine shooting, which was one of the most infamous mass shootings in American history. This image shows the 2 shooters that gunned down 12 students and 1 teacher on April 20th, 1999. It was a tragedy that shook the nation to its core. From it, heated debates were sparked that carry on to this day about gun legislation and the safety of schools and public places. From this came Rachel's Challenge and other organizations to spread awareness on kindness and non-cruelty in attempts to prevent future tragedies. And to end our segment on a more positive note, we also saw the coming out of Ellen DeGeneres on TV and an entertainment magazine. This was a huge step for the LGBT community, and it showed people that anyone could be gay, and there was nothing wrong with that. It sparked conversation among the community and those that weren't a part of it as well, allowing for change to be implemented and discussed in the future. Now to our sponsored commercial break for this week's newscast. First, take a trip with our favorite friends up north here to give your taste buds a ride. And then, watch as you're immersed in a CGI movie experience the likes of which you've never seen. This CGI animation technology gets more and more fantastical every single year in this decade.
Jurassic Park.
We've made living biological attractions so astounding that they'll capture the imagination of the entire planet.
The most phenomenal discovery of our time.
How'd you do this?
Becomes the greatest adventure of all time.
Can I touch it?
Sure.
Universal Pictures presents.
You feel that?
Hold on to your butts.
A Steven Spielberg film.
Senses of feeling all over the park. Yeah, that's nice. Gotta go.
An adventure.
Look out! Go!
I can't get Jurassic Park back online.
65 million years in the making. Jurassic Park.
Wow, what a lovely time that movie is going to be. It's going to be Jurassic. Okay, moving on. we have our esteemed Mauricio Gonzalez presenting the 5 people who made the 1990s the decade that it was.
Hi, welcome to our newest show. Our newest segment on our show is called Who Dat? But first, let me explain our rules. I'm going to describe someone and the impact they had, and you'll have 10 seconds to guess who they are. If you guess right, well then give yourself a point. If you guess wrong, well, you know what that means. Our first icon. This man was Speaker of the House from 1995 to 1999. He helped balance the budget for the first time in 30 years. As Speaker of the House, he worked to reform welfare and is credited with creating the agenda for the Taxpayer Relief Act of 1997 that is still used today to model some legislation. I'll give you guys 10 seconds. If you guessed Newt Gingrich, then give yourself a point. Our second icon of the day is a woman that everyone knows, and one man wishes he didn't. This woman was a 22-year-old White House intern when scandal broke the media. She was part of an affair with Bill Clinton. That's right, you guessed it. This happened while he was still in office. This led to the impeachment of said Clinton. While he was acquitted of all charges, it tarnished his reputation. This White House intern spoke out about the affair, saying that it was a mutual relationship. Even his enactment of NAFTA and the balancing of the budget in the U.S. could not save him from receiving flack for his scandal with this woman. One point for anyone who guessed Monica Lewinsky. And if you didn't get that point, well then you know what that means. Now, next we have a man who solidified his title of the GOAT in the 90s. After winning back-to-back championships in the NBA 2 times in 8 years.
Back-to-back-to-back.
Back-to-back-to-back championships in the NBA 2 times in 8 years. And 5 MVPs, he became a figure outside the sports world as well. He was on talk shows and impacted an entire generation. Everyone wanted to be like Mike. Michael Jordan! You guessed it, number 23 himself. Our fourth iconic figure was a man who went by the Juice. He ran for over 11,000 yards in his football career. From 1994 to 1995, this man was on trial for the murders of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman. After a long, harrowing trial that split the nation and pitted cutthroat lawyers against one another, he was acquitted of both accounts. The trial of the century was a war between Marsha Clark and Chris Darden and Rob Shapiro and Johnny Cochran. Through underhanded tactics and subversion, the defense won a year-long trial. The nation was polarized, and the race was once again brought to the forefront of American society, as many believe this man got off because he was black. And the case exposed LAPD officers, namely Mark Furman, as brutal racists unfit to serve justice. O.J. Simpson was in fact the correct answer. Right now, you have a total of 4 points. Up next is your last chance to get that 5th and final point that will win you absolutely nothing. Our final figure of the 1990s was a victim of police brutality in 1991. While being arrested, he was brutally beaten by 4 LAPD officers, and a video of said beating was released to the public. This set a tone for the entire decade and escalated racial tensions at the time. These tensions boiled over when the 4 officers were all let go, free of charge in 1992, for 5 days. People rioted in the streets of LA, and the divide between the African American community and the police force only continued to grow. If you guessed Rodney King as our 5th and final figure, then you are 100% correct. Congratulations to any of you who got them all correct, as we remember their impact on society.
I hope everyone at home enjoyed that incredible game of Who Dat? Up next, we have our final segment of 90s News. Time to kick back and relax with the music that made the decade. I'm going to send it over to Breitling to run you through a few classics of the period.
First up, we have a classic, Ice Cube's No Vaseline. It was a revenge rap after getting booted out of NWA and embodied the duality of the time period.
I put that on my mama and my dead homies. Yellow boys on your team, so you're losing. Hey, yo, Dre, stick to producing. Calling me owner, but you been a dick. Easy E saw your ass and went in it quick. You got jealous when I got my own company. But I'm a man, and ain't nobody helping me. Trying to sound like America most. You can yell all day, but you don't come close. Cause you know I'm the one that float. You done ran 100 miles, but you still got one to go. With the LENCHMOB and y'all disgrace to see people.
Now we're going to hit you with Michael Jackson's Black or White. He tells it to us straight up in a time where race was a huge issue that doesn't matter if you're black or white.
I'd rather hear both sides of the tale. See, it's not about races, just places, faces. Where your blood comes from is where your space is. I seen the bright red color. I'm not gonna spend my life being a color.
Tell me you agree with me when I saw you kicking dirt in my eye. You're thinking about my baby. It don't matter if you're black or white.
Here's another treat for you. Remember the 1997 classic, Titanic? It was a movie that broke box office records. Here's its most well-known song from its most well-known scene, Celine Dion's My Heart Will Go On.
Every night in my dreams, I see you, I feel you. That is how I know you. Go on. Far across the distance and spaces between us, you have come to show you. Go on. Near, far, wherever you are, I believe that the heart does go on.
Fourth, a classic among classics. This song sparked not only a musical trend, but a fashion one as well. MC Hammer's You Can't Touch This.
Break it down. Stop. Hammer time. Go with the flow. It is said if you can't prove the list, then you probably ought to dance away. Your hands in the air. Bust for you. Run your fingers through your hair. This is it. For a winner, dance to this, and you're gonna get there. The move. Slide your rump. Just for a minute, let's all do the bump. Bump. Yeah. You can't touch this. Look, man. You can't touch this. You better get a hype, boy, because you know you can't touch this. Ring the bell. School's back in. Break it down.
Our final piece in today's final segment is a song many hold near to their hearts. Let's finish this off with Smells Like Teen Spirit from Nirvana.
Thank you for that insightful segment. And thank you for taking this journey through the 90s with us. We hope you enjoyed and maybe even learned a little something as well. Signing off, Darian Lombardo.
Fighting Lewis.
And Mauricio Gonzalez.
Are we rolling? Yes! It's 8 o'clock. Do you know where your children are?
It's scary. Anyways, begin.
I just noticed I put shoes instead of shows, and I almost lost it when I read shoes instead of shows, and I was like, no. Wait, okay, so I'm gonna go. And then you throw that in here. Alright. Ready? Big boy. Alright. And...
First up, we have a classic Ice Cube No Vase line. It was a revenge line. I have to say vase line.
Our fourth iconic figure of the 90s was a man who went by the Juice. He ran over 11,000 yards in his football career from 1995 to 1994. From 1995 to 1994, I'm gonna start over that one. I'm gonna start going.
Do you want me to pause it?
No, that's fine. I'll just cut it out. Our fourth iconic figure of the 90s was a man who went by the Juice. He ran over 11,000 yards in his football career. I can't stand you. So... Alright, starting over.
Pick up.
Yeah.
We got the duck like...
Yeah, just pop up. Just pop up.
Pop up. Wait, go a little closer.
Yeah,
wait.
really?
Now go down again. Now come back up. Yeah.
This is crazy. No face he's making. Wait, check me real quick.
Just see how I look.
See if you can see him. That is jokes.
Move it a little bit. Can you go to Alvin? Yeah.
Like that?
Yeah.
Alright. So it's gonna be signing off Darian Lombardo, Brayling Lewis, and Mauricio Gonzalez. And then I think we'll all just take the hats and go. And then that'll end it.
We'll see you next time.
Okay. This is jokes. Alright, wait, somebody gotta hit play.
No, wait.
Hit play and then you just cut it.
Yeah. Oh, I already hit play.
Has it been recording that whole time? That's jokes.
Bloopers.
Bad. Our next segment will be yours truly, running you through 5 images that we picked.
All right.
Thank you for that insightful segment. And thank you for taking this journey through the 90s with us. We hope you enjoyed and maybe even learned a little something as well. Signing off, Darian Lombardo.
Fighting Lewis.
And Mauricio Gonzalez.
Yo. That was funny.
That was so good.